We're live from New Delhi, watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Araghchi coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says world witnessed India's military might in Operation Sindoor, calls the Monsoon Session a celebration of victory. Prime Minister Modi reiterates the resolve to eradicate Naxalism from India, says nation's constitution winning the war against guns. Yesterday's red corridors are now becoming green growth zones. Japan's ruling coalition loses majority in upper house. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba vows to remain in office for the US tariff talks. Opposition weighs a no confidence motion. Iran confirms fresh nuclear talks with European powers on Friday in Istanbul. And on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today urged all the political parties and members of parliament to send out a message of unity as he spoke about Operation Sindoor and India's several other achievements. Briefing media persons just before the commencement of Monsoon Session, Prime Minister Modi highlighted India's achievements in exposing Pakistan's terror-sponsoring activities, calling the session a celebration of victory. Prime Minister Modi lauded the strength and capability of India's military power. He also stressed on how the Indian Armed Forces achieved 100% of its objectives during Operation Sindoor in May, where it struck 9 terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
पूरी दुनिया ने भारत की सैन्य शक्ति का, भारत के सैन्य के सामर्थ्य का रूप देखा है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भारत की सेना ने जो लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया था 100% अचीव किया। आतंकियों के आकाओं के घर में जाकर के 22 मिनट के भीतर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के तहत उसको जमींदोज कर दिया गया।
Well, the Prime Minister also praised the leaders across political lines for their participation in the global outreach program under Operation Sindoor, calling it a reflection of India's collective strength and growing stature on the world stage.
पहलगाम की क्रूर अत्याचार, नरसंहार पूरी दुनिया चौंक उठी थी। आतंकवादी और आतंकवादी के आके दुनिया का ध्यान उनकी तरफ केंद्रित हुआ और उस समय दल हित छोड़ करके देश हित में हमारे ज्यादातर दलों के प्रतिनिधि, ज्यादातर राज्यों के प्रतिनिधि विश्व भ्रमण किया, दुनिया के अनेक देशों में गए और एक स्वर से दुनिया के सामने आतंकवादियों का आका पाकिस्तान को बेनकाब करने का एक बहुत सफल अभियान चलाया। मैं आज राष्ट्रहित में किए गए इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्य के लिए उन सभी सांसदों की सराहना करना चाहता हूं, सभी दलों की सराहना करना चाहता हूं और उसने देश में एक सकारात्मक वातावरण पैदा किया। विश्व ने भारत की बात को स्वीकार करने की दिशा में अपने मन के द्वार खोले।
Well, Prime Minister Modi also reiterated his resolve to eradicate Naxalism, stressing that Indian security forces are swiftly advancing in their goal to eradicate Naxalism from its roots.
चाहे आतंकवाद हो, नक्सलवाद हो, कोई प्रारंभ में शुरू हुआ होगा, कोई बाद में शुरू हुआ होगा, लेकिन आज नक्सलवाद का, माओवाद का दायरा बहुत तेजी से सिकुड़ रहा है। माओवाद को, नक्सलवाद को जड़ से उखाड़ने के संकल्प के साथ देश के सुरक्षा बल एक नए आत्मविश्वास से, तेज गति से सफलता की ओर कदम रख रहे हैं। और मैं गर्व से कह सकता हूं, देश में सैकड़ों जिले नक्सल की चपेट में से निकल करके आज मुक्ति का सांस ले रहे हैं।
Well, the Prime Minister also stressed that it is with the efforts of the government, India is moving ahead at a fast pace towards becoming the third largest economy of the world.
देश में एक जमाना था 2014 के पहले, जब महंगाई का दर, इन्फ्लेशन रेट डबल डिजिट में हुआ करता था। आज 2% के आसपास आकर के देश के सामान्य मानव के जीवन में राहत बन गया है, सुविधा बन गया है। लो इन्फ्लेशन के सामने हाई ग्रोथ एक अच्छे विकास यात्रा की दिशा है।
And for more, we have Debyendu Mondal joining us. Well, Debyendu, Prime Minister Modi briefed the media ahead of the monsoon session of the Parliament. He mentioned a lot of important points, calling monsoon session a celebration of victory. Give us the highlights.
Lipakshi, of course, it was a customary address of the Prime Minister before the beginning of any session of Parliament. So, of course, he was addressing the media this morning before the monsoon session of Parliament, which began sitting of both the Houses of Parliament at about 11 a.m. this morning. But of course, the key highlights would have, from the Prime Minister's speech would of course be how the country is proud and how we are all as a nation standing by our armed forces because how they have conducted Operation Sindoor and the precision strikes on the military hideouts, I beg your pardon, on the terrorist hideouts of the terrorists that had caused India to bleed through 1,000 cuts through over the years. So therefore, the Prime Minister praised the Indian Army for conducting those precision strikes. He also spoke about the indigenous weapons that were used in carrying out these the Operation Sindoor and how all the political parties had united against Pakistan and stood in one voice for India when it came to national interest and national security. So therefore, he also said during his speech that he expects the opposition to behave maturely as they have shown maturity during a time when the country needed the most, and therefore he expects that the Parliament is such a place where if all the political parties, keeping aside their political ideologies, come together, businesses can be conducted smoothly. And he also appealed to the opposition parties to unite for the development of India, which the Narendra Modi government had been trying to carry out over the last one decade. He also did speak about the Naxalites and how the Naxals, the hideouts of the Naxals, as well as the Naxal-affected districts, which were many in the past many years and during the previous regimes, how these districts were considered as red corridor, and now after almost wiping out the Naxalism from the country, these red corridors have turned into the corridors of growth and green corridor. So therefore he speaks about how the development, how the progress of the nation has been taking place in the last 1 decade. He also did mention about how one of our Indians who had gone to the International Space Station, Shubhanshu Shukla, and had made India proud by flying the tricolor up in the space, and therefore giving a sense that this could also help India's Gaganyaan mission that aims to send manned mission to this International Space Station would become a success in the coming future. So therefore, this clearly sets an agenda, sets the tone for the Parliament session where the government is clear about bringing legislation, is expecting the opposition to stay united when it comes to legislating businesses in both the houses of Parliament for the development of nation, and he also expects that the opposition would behave maturely in a parliamentary democracy and help the government push with key important development and legislative businesses in the Parliament. He also spoke about his government's achievements with respect to digital payments, with respect to bringing down inflation over the last 1 decade, and also said that the India had become from an economy that was at the 10th place, the Indian economy has grown and risen to the 3rd place over the last 1 decade, and therefore the country is on the right track of development, and Parliament is of course being the temple of democracy where all this legislation and businesses take place. The conduct of the opposition should be in such a manner that helps India grow and that helps India progress over the next decade.
All right, Dibyendu, clearly Prime Minister's speech set a positive note for the session. What is happening right now in the session and what all is expected today, Dibyendu?
Well, of course, as soon as both the houses of Parliament began, there were disruptions in the Lok Sabha where the opposition had demanded that there should be a discussion on Operation Sindoor, and they had been demanding that Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks on the Pahalgam attack and on Operation Sindoor. So therefore there were ruckuses. Also there were ruckus created in the lower house of Parliament with respect to the electoral roll revision in Bihar, and soon after the Lok Sabha began at 11 a.m. it was adjourned shortly thereafter because of the ruckus that was being created by the opposition, and it has began sitting again at 12 this afternoon here, and of course the question hour is currently underway in Lok Sabha, as well as as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned. The Rajya Sabha was also briefly adjourned following ruckus from the opposition, and therefore both the houses are currently functioning smoothly. And as far as the legislative business is concerned, it is expected that important bills like the port and landing bill could be tabled in the Rajya Sabha today. As far as the Lok Sabha is concerned, it is expected that the taxation bill would be tabled would be placed in the Lok Sabha, because this bill was referred to a standing committee, and the standing committee is expected to submit its report today morning in the Lok Sabha, and it is expected that by the mid-afternoon that the taxation amendment bill, which aims to repeal older laws and as well as simplify the new taxation laws, would be put forward in the Lok Sabha.
All right, Dibyendu, thank you so much for all that information. And moving on, Mata Vaishno Devi Yatra was suspended on Monday following a massive landslide triggered by heavy rainfall near Yatra track in Riyasi. One pilgrim lost his life in the incident, while 7 others were injured, including 3 in critical condition. The Yatra has been temporarily suspended as a precautionary measure as authorities are conducting safety inspections before resuming the pilgrimage, keeping a close watch on the weather situation. Well, Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Manoj Sinha has expressed grief over the tragic incident and condoled the loss of life. Taking to social media X, the LG said, and I quote, "I am deeply saddened by the tragic landslide incident at Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine, in which a devotee unfortunately lost his life. Directed Shrine Board to provide best possible medical care and support to the injured pilgrims. I am constantly monitoring the situation," unquote. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Bedouin fighters head towards village near Syria's Sweda as residents reported calm in the city after days of violence. Typhoon Vipa batters Hong Kong and Macau. Hundreds seek shelter amid severe storm damage.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana. And moving on, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said on Monday he needed to continue in office on Monday after his ruling coalition suffered defeat in upper house elections. Ishiba told a news conference he would remain in office to oversee tariff talks with the United States and other pressing matters such as rising consumer prices. Ishiba offered his apologies after his coalition's loss.
It is with deep regret that we are unable to win seats. As President of the Liberal Democratic Party, I offer my deepest and most sincere apologies. We must take this result humbly and sincerely.
Japan's ruling coalition has lost its majority after the far-right Sanseito Party emerged as one of the biggest winners in Japan's upper house election on Sunday. The party won 14 seats, adding to the single lawmaker it secured in the 248-seat chamber 3 years ago. It has only 3 seats in the more powerful lower house. Second placed was the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, which won 22 of those being contested, followed by the Democratic Party for the People with 17. In the election, 125 seats in the 248-seat upper house were contested in the election. The coalition needed 50 of those up for grabs, but they only won 47, with the LDP winning 39 and Komeito 8, giving them 122 deputies. And now we'll take you live to Rajya Sabha, where Civil Aviation Minister is speaking right now.
We want to stand by the truth, not what is happening with the pilots or not what is happening with the Boeing or not what is happening with the Air India or any other stakeholder which is this. We want to stand by the truth. We want to find out what exactly happened, and that is only going to be coming out once the final report has been placed. So we have to respect the process of investigation, and once that process of investigation has happened, then we can talk about what happened and how it happened, and then the corrective measures. If we talk about the other incidents that would have happened before, let it be the Air Nippon, Japanese Airways, or any other airways for that fact, every time any incident happens in any country, then the same process is followed. where the investigation body gets into the process of investigation, and once the thorough investigation is done and the final report is placed, only then the corrective measures to all these countries and all these airline operators and all the regulators is sent so that the corrective action is being done. And this has happened in the previous incidences also. Wherever there was any incident happened, whenever there was a mandatory suggestive correction measures that were supposed to be done, through the international protocol, it is mandatory for every state regulator to follow these and every airline operator to follow these. And we have thoroughly, without any negligence, we have thoroughly followed all the corrective and suggestive measures from the ICAO international protocol.
Thank you. Second supplementary.
Honorable Chairman, sir.
तो नागर विमानन मंत्री को अभी आप सुन रहे थे.
Well, you were watching live from Rajya Sabha, where Civil Aviation Minister was speaking on the Ahmedabad investigation, Boeing investigation. And moving on, Iran, Britain, France and Germany will hold nuclear talks in Istanbul on Friday. Iranian diplomats will meet counterparts from Britain, France and Germany, known as the E3, after the trio warned that sanctions could be reimposed on Tehran if it does return to the negotiating table over its nuclear program. Iran and the United States had held several rounds of nuclear negotiations through Omani mediators before Israel launched its 12-day conflict against Iran. However, US President Donald Trump's decision to join Israel in striking Iranian nuclear facilities effectively ended the talks. Well, the E3 countries last met with Iranian representatives in Geneva on June 21st, just one day before the US strikes. Meanwhile, Iran has ruled out reverting to the old deal. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the E3 lacks any legal, political and moral standing for reactivating the snapback sanctions. He elaborated in a post to social media on Sunday, saying through their actions and statements, including providing political and material support to the recent unprovoked and illegal military aggression of the Israeli regime and the US, the E3 have relinquished their role as participants in the JCPOA. And US President Donald Trump on Monday stepped up his attack on Barack Obama by posting an AI-generated video of the Federal Bureau of Investigation arresting the former president in the Oval Office. The video, posted on Truth Social, begins with Obama saying, "Especially the president is above the law." It then features many US politicians stating no one is above the law. The clip then switches to an AI-generated video of Obama being handcuffed by two FBI agents in the same office he once occupied as the president. Trump can be seen sitting and smiling during the arrest. The fake video ends with Obama standing inside the jail wearing the prison's orange jumpsuit. Well, on to some weather news. Storms drenched southern parts of mainland China on Monday, toppling a 17-meter tree and flooding the streets. Heavy rain lashed cities in the southern province of Guangdong after the storm system made landfall on Sunday. Heavy rainfall is forecast to continue across coastal regions in South China until Tuesday morning, with warnings issued for flash floods, landslides and strong winds. Neighboring casino hub Macau issued its own top-level typhoon warning shortly after noon, with authorities suspending all public transportation services. And injury troubles continue to mount for the Indian team as Nitish Kumar Reddy and Arshdeep Singh have been ruled out of the fourth test at Old Trafford. All-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy, along with pacers Arshdeep Singh and Akashdeep, suffered injuries while training for the Manchester test. Nitish Kumar Reddy has been ruled out of the remainder of the series and will fly back to India for recovery. Meanwhile, Arshdeep has been ruled out of the fourth test and his progress will be monitored. Selectors have added fast bowler Anshul Kamboj and retained Akashdeep in the squad for the final two tests. The fourth test is battle for India as host England lead the 5-match series 2-1. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Well, let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Araghchi from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.